And the way to imagine it is once you pull one side of the foundation, everything else comes with it. I met a yogi in India who told me a story about his transformation that I'm going to share with you because you too can go through the same process. It was interesting, and it wasn't what you thought it would be. So he was an awesome guy, smiling, happy, present. Everyone loved him. A great guy all around. And obviously, I liked him and respected him as a friend. And one day we just got to talking about his story. And it was a lot different than I thought it was. He told the story of how he was, in all ways, just a very average person. Living in a modern world, the food's not very good. Health is hard. There's a lot of stress. Work is a big responsibility. Raising a family. All of these very normal things applied to him. He told me about how he was very overweight, how he would drink tons and tons and tons of soda and other unhealthy drinks regularly. He was normal. He was stressed at his job. He's all the things that we kind of think of when we think of just a regular person, really relatable. And when he told me this, I was a bit shocked. I was like, wow, you're such, there's certain people who just get it. They're alive and they kind of have figured out life and they know how to live fully in the world, attend to their responsibilities, live with happiness, live with joy, positive mindset. And there's certain people who are not quite there yet. And he certainly was positive and had all these amazing qualities. And I asked him, I said, what happened? How did you go from there to here? And he told me something very interesting. He said, well, I just started by going to a yoga class. And personally, I was shocked by this because my background is really in meditation, in theories and ideas, and overcoming myself through mindfulness. My relationship with physical asana, physical postures, is less than many people's because I've done it mostly through the mind and the heart. So I was a bit shocked to see just a normal person went to a yoga class and that was the start of it because that wasn't my experience. And he said, it was interesting that I went and slowly over the course of about 3 years, my life changed. Maybe it wasn't even 3 years. Maybe it was less. But it was a dramatic change. With this one simple action, he used it as a catalyst, a way to propel himself towards other positive life changes. Everything else comes with it. That's why physical yoga is so powerful, because eventually creating the more coherent body creates a more coherent mind. But yoga is a little bit different than traditional exercise because it's made to balance the mind-body relationship. It's not about increasing muscles. It's a different type of muscle fiber it gets. It's more of a denser type of muscle than a big bodybuilder type of muscle. It's a lean type of really high quality lean, like that really thick, strong, dense, strong type of muscle. And he went through that process of developing that, and he stopped drinking soda. He found a better relationship with his family. He was stressed out less. He started to then go into the other fields because it evolves into taking mental inventory, finding deeper relationships with love and gratitude, and generally just being a kick-ass happy person who's not caught up in themselves. So if you look underneath the surface, what you might find is that all of those practices are not designed for a physical benefit, even though there's physical benefits in them, definitely. But the physical benefit is there to lead us to uniting with our true self, our inner self. I use this term a lot because it's one of the core fundamentals of understanding. Even when I look at philosophers, they fail to realize this simple fact that beyond the conditioned, worldly, domesticated, limited, prideful self that's largely been born out of convention and social norms and expectations, beyond all of that, once we can look below the surface, we find that there's a truer version of ourself. And a lot of people refer that as their soul. It's a difficult concept, but if you talk to yogis or even spiritual people, they don't identify with themselves as their body. They identify themselves with their soul. So, look, no one happens to know what truth will be revealed to us or not when we die. But most people act as if they do know. But what you can say with absolute certainty is that you don't know. So that means that you can say with absolute certainty that you do not know that your awareness is limited to the body. So we identify with ourselves. The normal person identifies, they self-identify as a body or a woman or a man or a whatever, right? The yogi's self-identity is with the soul. Now, whether it's true or not, we could debate. I'm not here to impose or to tell you what to think. I'm here to explore concepts that you may not have explored. And it changes your understanding of things because that soulful self doesn't die, but the body dies. So these systems of yoga are about uniting with that self, peeling back the layers. And this beautiful, joyful, abundant mystery that no one fully understands. I don't fully understand it. No one fully understands it. Dancing that dance, enjoying that dance of that being revealed to us. So it's one of the biggest shifts. Now, I can't say with absolute certainty that I am the soul, like who I am is my soulful self that does continue to exist after death. But most people believe in some form of afterlife. So if they're really mindful, if they really look at what they already believes, a statement of the truths that they already know, then it's already been established for most people. Most people subscribe to some sort of heaven or hell or afterlife, or maybe not. Most scientific people have discarded it. But what I'm offering is that we don't know, and this is one perspective that's interesting to look at it. But regardless of debating on self-identity and whether we're the body or the soul, what you can say is you don't know. So to limit yourself to a bodily existence is possibly not the best way to live life. And I will also say, when you look at it from that perspective of, the truest inner self that's beyond worldly limits, there's no fear of death. There's a lot of resolve that comes from it. It's a larger subject, but it's important to consider it. Now, beyond identifying and explaining that internal true self, whether we are the body or we are a soulful self that lives on after death, yoga is really a system for uniting your personality beyond conditioning, beyond social norms, pride, and limits. So there are these practices that are very intelligently put together. Now, most people in the modern world, they kind of mess it up because they're not practicing it correctly. They're they don't understand the totality of the system, the full part of it, and applying it appropriately. But when it's practiced properly, it allows you to just tune in with yourself and find what's underneath all the noise of the world. What's beyond anger? What's beyond stress? What's beyond fear? What's beyond the clouded understanding of life? And that allows us to live in balance with ourselves, being true to yourself and your needs. And then you're in harmony with yourself and the world around you, because you are not out of step. You are knowing what you need and what you want and the most effective way to move forward. It allows you to handle your worldly responsibilities much more effectively. It's almost self-obvious that if you're imbalanced, you are more effective. But again, just like my friend, for most people, it starts with the body. And that's an interesting perspective. Consider it like this. Picture it. When you're purifying yourself with these secret techniques, you are taking your mind and you're getting rid of dysfunctional ways of, some people can be depressed for up to a lifetime. And by stepping outside of that, we activate dormant potential that is surely there, but we activate it. We free up areas that were once bounded. And in that way, we're more able to make better life choices, to help ourselves and to help others. In times of stress, we can find solutions to problems that a more stressed out or a less balanced person would have overlooked. So we free up consciousness or awareness, our ability to see and act. We free that up because we were once stuck in a more limited way. We were once bounded in something smaller. So just like this amazing yogi, who was by all rights a very normal person, stressed, agitated, unhappy with himself and the world, hated his life, did not wake up feeling like a winner. You too can start. It doesn't have to be yoga. Yoga is really just anything that unites you with your truest self, with your happiest self. So it could be reading a book. It could be laying in the sun. It could be eating a healthy meal. Whatever in the moment is leading you to the highest potential is yoga in that moment. It can start with a physical practice. It can start with a meditative practice. It can start with just simple love. I would almost offer that even by surrendering your emotions to simple love or gratitude for life and consciously practicing that, you can lift yourself up and over just about anything. And I can tell you some interesting stories about that as well, about how to do that and my personal experiences with that. But again, remember, most people identify with the body, themselves as the body. So for most people, it starts with the body. Maybe that's eating healthy. Maybe that's deep breathing. Maybe that's meditation. Maybe that's a physical asana practice. Asana being what we think of when we think of yoga, physical practice. And through that process of purifying themselves in any field of life, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, relationships, any field of life, by purifying yourself, you free up parts of yourself that were once limited, and you become more able to unite with your potential. We're more able to make better life choices, to help ourselves, to become less stressed, and to find solutions and opportunities that we in the past didn't see. So make a choice today. Do something good for yourself, and you yourself will benefit from it. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you supporting this community, and I invite you to support this community at yogiryan.com and let me know how I can help you. Thank you.